way she looked me in my eyes. She said, baby, I am not afraid to die.
At Springfield, Massachusetts, and at the time, it was the standard wartime rifle of the U.S. Army. It was reliable and produced as a short-barreled version for the American Expeditionary Force. It was in short supply, however, so around half of the U.S. soldiers in the field were issued with the M1917 American Enfield. The performance of the U.S. rifle was comparable to the British Lee Enfield and was also produced in a Mk1 automatic version. The Springfield utilized a licensed bolt action and was made out of wood. The barrel was about 16 inches long, and the bullet was a .30-06. The service of the Springfield extended beyond World War I. A shortage of the M1 rifles at the beginning of World War II, which once again became the primary rifle for the units defending the Philippines and the U.S. Army Corps in 1942. When they landed on Guadalcanal in 1936, the M1 Garand rifle began replacing the Springfield, and by July of 1947, the Springfield was considered obsolete.
The Bergmann MP-18 was used by the Germans in 1918. This weapon uses 9mm bullets for ammo and has a 32-round magazine. The magazine was attached to the side, so when you use it, you can use that as a grip, so you don't have to shoot everywhere. And during the Treaty of Versailles, they banned this weapon because it was a powerful submachine gun. The Browning automatic rifle was used by the Americans during the trench warfare. It holds a 20-round detachable box magazine, so the reload speed would be 2 to 4 seconds. It uses a .30 inch for ammo, also has a bipod attached in the front.
Alright, so my topic was artillery, and I picked the howitzer, known as Bertha, or Big Bertha. Okay, so the howitzer was a heavy siege gun. The place of origin was from the German Empire. Okay, so in the war, in World War I and World War II, this was used by Hungarian, Austrian Empire, and the German Empire. The manufacturer of this howitzer was Krupp, which is a German company, and it weighed 47 tons, which is about 94,000 pounds, and the length of this howitzer was 5.88 meters, which is 19.3 feet. It fired a 420 millimeter caliber bullet, and the muzzle velocity was roughly 1,312 feet per second. Also, the effective range of the howitzer was 12.5 kilometers, also known as 7.8 miles. Okay, so the battle I chose was the Battle of Verdun. Alright, to start off, the French won this war. Okay, so what happened was the Germans tried to take Mesu Heights as a defensive position over the French, and as you can tell, they failed. This was in Verdun, Sarre-Meuse, France. The tech that they used was artillery, aircraft, and infantry. So the French had 156,000 killed, okay? 156,000 casualties. And the Germans only had 143,000 casualties, which kind of makes no sense because the French won. But, hey. So how did this battle contribute to World War I, or the outcome of World War I? Well, let's say the Germans won this battle, then they would have a better defensive standpoint over the French, which means the Germans, in the end result, would have been harder to defeat. Therefore, it might have led to the Germans beating us or beating France in the long run. But since the French did win, this played a big role in the outcome of the actual World War I. The two technologies I picked from the war that I picked, the Battle of Verdun, were artillery and aircraft. Now, the way artillery was used Artillery is used to fight long-range battles, like battles that you didn't want infantry to be in because you knew they would be slaughtered. So they brought out the artillery, started blasting rounds downrange, across the map. You already know what happened. Everyone dies. Also, it was used to provide cover fire for Allied forces that were over there across the lines. You know, they would send a couple rounds down to the trenches. Allies could move up, you know, take over, do the thing. Also, artillery was used as kind of like a strategic standpoint. So when like infantry was like taking a break or they weren't making moves, like trying to figure out the next move, artillery was used to keep the enemy in their current position, basically pinning them down. Say you were in a trench and all you heard all day was boom, 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 round after round coming near you. You wouldn't want to leave the trench and go find another spot. Hell no. You'd stay put and you would wait it out. The thing is, once you wait it out, you're dead. The way aircrafts were used was they would send them over, spot enemies, you know, tell them the coordinates so the artillery could fire upon them. So they basically work in conjunction. Also, aircrafts, you know, they could fly really long, get supplies, bring it, keep doing that. And also, some of them had bombs on them. So they'd fly over instead of using artillery if it was reloading or something, drop a couple of mustard gases or something, just bomb the hell out of them, do whatever they can, whatever they had on them, that's what they used. Alright, so the technology I picked for the 3 ways it has evolved was the Springfield 1873, which was a bolt-action rifle used in World War I. Now, we still use bolt-action rifles to this day, but the main thing that has changed was the invention of the scope. Okay, the scope allows you to see out farther, see your target better at a farther distance and tune it just right. Windage, elevation, everything to hit that target dead on. Also, another big factor is the barrel. The barrels back then weren't that good, you know. They would rust out when you're fighting. They would rust, you know. You'd have to re-blue them. Now, if you don't know what bluing is, you blue a barrel. Basically means like you kind of like restore it, you know. Another thing, magazines. You know, nowadays we have sniper rifles. You load up a mag, 5 bullets, put in. It's still bolt action, but you have a magazine, so you don't have to keep on picking out a bullet out of your little rucksack, put it in. You might drop it or whatever. You just pull that bolt back, push it forward, and that's it. You're ready to fire. And then the major advantage why we win wars, you know, semi-auto. There's no more pulling that bolt back, locking it, whatever. There's no more of that. It's just a gas-driven system. You shoot, the explosion from the bullet propels that bolt back, which hits the bolt buffer, which pushes that bolt back, and bam, it basically is a bolt action sniper rifle or a bolt action assembly, but it's just automated, you know, semi-automatic. That's what automatic means. It's automatic. It does it itself. It's the self-powered system, you know. That's the biggest one out of all of these. Yeah.
Now my one is rush.